Now, I could be wrong. I have known to be wrong. Don't tell my husband I admitted that, because I will never admit that to him. But I find it a little unnerving that fact that the mother was as calm and placid as she is. I know that they would be sedating me. There is no chance that I would be able to be up and about in this first week, first month. They would have to sedate me. I would be in bed under the covers, making sure that my mind didn't know what was going on, because I couldn't handle not knowing where my kid is. I couldn't handle it. And in the end, her voice does break. However, I did not see one tear shed. And I didn't in any other interviews that I have watched. There was always the voice breaking, but no tears. Does that have something to do with it? I don't know. Does that make them in on it? I don't know. But it's like I said, I could be wrong. But did you also notice the father shaking like he was doing this? And it really distracted me the first couple of times that I saw the clip, so I had to keep going back because I just kept getting distracted by this. I'm like, what's going on? He was bouncing up and down, and I don't want to speculate, which I will. Let's face it. There's no filter here. You know the little guy that is born, and when you're born, and he's the one that has to say to you, shut up, you need a filter? Yeah. When I was born, he was dead. So I've never had a filter because, yeah, I was never born with one. But I know a guy. Could there be drugs involved? Could there be drugs involved? I don't want to accuse him. I just want to put the theory out there. It's just that a friend of mine, when I found out he was doing crystal meth, because he was doing the bouncing thing, so I'm like, I've got to investigate this, because if this idiot's doing drugs, I don't want him near my kids. So he was bobbing up and down all the time. So it just triggered me a little, when I saw this interview. But I guess only time will tell, although he is a big man. And usually these meth heads, women not so much. Women seem to, we just can't lose the weight even on meth. But some do, of course. But usually they're skinny, gaunt looking men when they're on these drugs, because their bodies, which are assholes for, men can shed weight quicker. And it shits me, really shits me. We have to give birth. We have to put our body through all that crap. And they just get to lose weight. Rude. So police went on to say that they were aware about the speculation of foul play in Dylan's disappearance, because there's Facebook groups popping up left, right, and centre about this case. And that seems to be the only source of information, except when I went on there yesterday, so the 9th of July, I asked if, does anybody know if there's been any updates, and there's been nothing. We don't know a damn thing. But the police do continue to say that they don't believe foul play was involved. And Officer McNeil at the local PD there said, I can guarantee you that we have been following up on leads. We've been conducting a missing persons investigation from day one. And right at this point in time, there is nothing to suggest foul play. That may change. It may not. But right now, there's nothing to suggest that. Yeah. The police then went to use search dogs in this case, so, to sniff out. I'm guessing that it just said search dogs, but I'm guessing that they utilised the cadaver dogs as well, because if they didn't, then that's one avenue that needs to be used. But the dogs came up with nothing. Now, because the dogs came out with nothing, it only makes my suspicions higher that there was foul play involved, because when a search dog searches, they follow the scent. But if a child is being picked up, there's no scent. And the dogs didn't find it. So this child could have been picked up, abducted, who knows. So I think he was grabbed. But if they haven't managed to find it, then why wouldn't you think foul play? I know I would. Be the first place I'd look. So every local government agency has been involved in those first few weeks. The Truro Fire Service, ground search rescue teams, along with other government agencies from neighbouring towns of Colchester County and Halifax. The Department of Natural Resources helicopter came in to help with the search also. But on the Sunday after his disappearance, the police searchers began to focus on Highway 102, which runs very much beside Salmon River. And they walked the river when the tide was low. So, but the last article stated that nothing came out of that search either. Nothing. This 3-year-old is just gone. But they are dead set on the fact that this little boy has passed away, because they are on a mission now to recover. Which might not be the case. It could just, he could have been grabbed and someone's holding him hostage. We've seen it before. So, of course, a command post was set up not far from the grandparents' home in the Timbits soccer field. And a mannequin was used in the search for Dylan. So they've dressed him up just like Dylan. And just to jog people's minds. It does help. It helped in the case down here of, oh wow, his face is in my head. Oh my goodness. Anyway, there was a case here where they'd use a mannequin and it did jog people's memories. So it can work. Daniel Morecambe, that's the kid. Daniel Morecambe, he'd been missing for the 10 years, and then it's only recently, in the last couple of years, that finally Brett Peter Cowan was caught and finally came clean. He came clean, but didn't know he was being recorded coming clean. Anyway, so, but nothing reported apparently was any help, which this happens in all cases. The police like to keep, well, look, there could have been information used, but police they like to keep information from the public, information that only anyone that was with him on that day or anyone that could have taken him on that day would have knowledge of. So something that they wear, something that they do, something that is left behind, so that they can identify perpetrators if needed. So if an individual knows something that hasn't gone out into the press, they know that that is the person that they need to solely, or not solely, keep an open mind, but that is the person that they need to be looking at further. And Truro Mayor Bill Mills went on to extend a message to the community regarding the local tragedies that had happened, because this is over COVID. This is still a COVID stage when this started. So it would have been in lockdown too for the states. So, open quote, In the wake of recent tragic events that seem to have had an effect on all of us in one way or another, coupled by the ongoing COVID situation, the easiest thing to do would be to give up and succumb to the depths of despair. However, I believe this community can persevere. We are resilient, we are strong, and we remain united with hope. We stand together in solidarity, even if it has to be 6 feet apart for now. Good. So, that's cute, but it doesn't really help. But at least the mayor's trying to get a positive message about it all out there. But here's where things get very interesting. The parents of Dylan, 4 days prior to Dylan's disappearance, they were both charged with domestic assault. Both. Ashley Brown, 32, mother, was charged on May 2nd with assaulting Dylan's father, Jason. Jason, 33, was also charged that day with muttering a threat to cause death to Ashley. Now, he's also facing charges of committing mischief by willingly damaging an Apple iPhone belonging to Ashley, and both were to appear in court on June 10th last month. For the life of me, I cannot find anything on that verdict. And I've tried. I tried every different search engine. I tried the courts. I tried everything. But I could not find a verdict in that case. So it's as I said, the world's forgotten about this family. But when they were charged on the 2nd, 4 days before his disappearance, they were ordered by the court not to communicate directly or indirectly with one another, except through a third party to arrange for child visitations through a lawyer. But the couple 4 days later did appear on camera together on CTV, the clip that I showed you, to talk about their son's disappearance. So I'm not sure how that works. I'm not sure if they would have to go to the judge and say, look, we need to be together to do these things to try and help our son. I mean, surely there would have to be some sort of break that could happen so that they could deal with this. Police have claimed that they are aware of the domestic issues, but they still believe that there is no foul play at hand. Chief McNeil stated that there is absolutely no evidence to link the domestic charges with the boy's disappearance. Yes, we are aware, and this has no bearing on our investigation into Dylan's disappearance at this point. From our perspective, the two are not connected and they are totally irrelevant. Take what you will of that. So Jason, the father, then after all of this went on to tell CTV News, it feels like day one over and over and over again. I just want him to come home. Now Ashley, the mother, did another interview. She stated, quote, "We didn't expect the outpour to be as big as it was. We didn't expect people to reach out like they have been and to help as they have been. It's a small comfort to know people are out there helping and, want to bring him home as much as we do. He is the most outgoing little boy I've ever seen, and it just blows my mind that every day with all things that he does," close quote. Confusing at the end there, but it's a quote. I gotta go with the quote. So further on, Dylan's father did another interview stating that Paw Patrol is his favourite show. The Cat in the Hat is his favourite book. He loves to play with toy trucks and planes. And he asked us to read to him every day. He's one of them kids that never gave up. It didn't matter what he was trying to do, and if you heard him hurt, I'm guessing that's meant to be hurt himself, he's always get back up and try until he did what he was going to do. He was amazing. Close quote. The fact that the father is using past tense when speaking about his son in the period where they were still searching for him and hadn't made it a recovery operation speaks volumes to me. Doesn't sit right in my gut. Why would you talk about him in the past tense if you were hoping for him to come home? Then again, I have not been in this situation. It's just that I have a big mouth and I will go with any theory that I can to just make sense of cases. So, speaking in past tense, it just makes me wonder, does he know what happened to Dylan? Does he know that his son isn't alive anymore? Because that's what it alluded to. But I guess that remains to be seen because this case is still ongoing.